Parenting metaphor. The entire franchise serves as an allegory about Asian parenting styles. This theory, originating from a July 2018 Medium article, argues that the first film's narrative structure mirrors the dynamics of strict Asian family expectations. Tai Lung represents the golden child, a perfect and talented student raised with impossibly high expectations. Shifu initially loves him, but competitiveness takes over as he forces his own dreams onto his adopted son. Tigress represents the inferior child, treated as a lesser version of Tai Lung and never given the same attention or love despite her dedication. Po represents the wildcard, a student with zero visible talents initially, whom Shifu treats with contempt and dismissal. The theory proposes that Shifu embodies the archetypal Asian parent, where love and attention are divided based on meeting predetermined expectations. All three students represent different responses to parental pressure, and Tai Lung's villainous turn stems from expectations he couldn't fulfill, rather than inherent evil. This interpretation gains credibility from how consistently it maps onto the character relationships throughout the film, reframing what appears to be a simple hero's journey into a nuanced exploration of family dynamics that resonates particularly with Asian American audiences who recognize these patterns. The theory remains unconfirmed by filmmakers, but the thematic consistency makes it compelling enough that fans continue debating whether this was intentional subtext. Mass transformation. Humans once existed in this universe, but transformed themselves into animals through shape-shifting kung fu techniques. This Reddit theory from 2024 builds on evidence from Kung Fu Panda, Legends of Awesomeness, where shape-shifting techniques appear in various episodes, including characters who can transform their appearance. The theory proposes that ancient kung fu masters in China were originally human and used shape-shifting moves to transform into animals to augment their fighting styles. The theorist calls this hypothetical event the mass zooification. The universe contains primates like apes and monkeys, suggesting human-like beings could feasibly exist in this world. This would explain why characters have distinctly human features like mustaches, beards, and human-level sentience. The theory further suggests that the wives of kung fu masters also knew shape-shifting, explaining the complete absence of humans throughout China. While highly speculative, the precedent of shape-shifting existing in canon gives this theory a foundation that makes it technically possible, even if far-fetched. The theory attempts to address one of the franchise's biggest mysteries, why an entire species is missing from what's clearly meant to be ancient China, and the fact that shape-shifting is canonically possible keeps this theory from being entirely dismissed. Yin Yang. Po and Tigress embody the Yin Yang symbol as living representations of universal balance. This popular fan theory, circulating since at least 2016, points to several pieces of evidence. Po is a panda, naturally black and white like the Yin Yang symbol itself. In traditional philosophy, the tiger and dragon represent corresponding energies in Yin Yang dynamics. Tigress is a female tiger, while Po serves as the dragon warrior, creating opposite but complementary energies. The characters display opposite personalities, with Po being carefree and optimistic, while Tigress remains serious and disciplined. In the third film, Oogway explicitly states that Po represents both sides of the yin-yang circle, which is canon dialogue that lends weight to this theory. Yellow and gold produce yin-yang in color theory and appear in various symbolic ways throughout the films. This theory remains unconfirmed as intentional character design, but the actual yin-yang imagery and philosophy is deliberately incorporated into the films. The fact that Oogway directly connects Po to yin-yang in canon dialogue suggests the filmmakers were aware of this symbolism, making the extended theory about Po and Tigress together representing balance plausible, even if unconfirmed. Po Immortality. Po will inherit Oogway's centuries-long lifespan and become immortal like his predecessor. This fan theory has circulated since the third film's release in 2016. Oogway lived approximately 1,000 years, a full millennium, before passing into the spirit realm. At the film's conclusion, Oogway declares Po his true successor and gives him the yin-yang staff. The theory suggests that true successor means more than just a title and could include inheriting the extended lifespan. Some fans theorize that the Wuxi Finger Hold, which Po used on Tai Lung, transformed him into a spirit with strong qi similar to Kai, potentially granting immortality. This would explain how Po could continue protecting the Valley of Peace for centuries to come. The theory remains speculative with no canonical confirmation, but it explores the bittersweet implications of Poe's destiny. If true, he would outlive all his friends and loved ones, transforming the cheerful panda's journey into something far more melancholic. The films never explicitly address Poe's lifespan or aging, leaving this possibility open and making the theory impossible to definitively disprove based on current canon. By the way, if you're enjoying this, I post videos like this regularly. Subscribing would really help out. Hidden names. The Furious Five all possess secret birth names that they abandoned upon becoming kung fu masters. This theory, intensifying after the fourth film, examines the franchise's inconsistent naming conventions. Most masters are named by their species: Master Tigress, Master Crane, Master Ox, Master Rhino. Exceptions include Shifu, which means teacher, Oogway, which means tortoise but functions as a personal name, and characters like Po, Tai Lung, and Zhen. The theory suggests that Kung Fu tradition involves taking a title based on species upon mastering the art, meaning the five likely had personal names before achieving master status. This would explain why some characters have individual names, while others seem identified solely by species. Some fan theories speculate that Tigress might have been named Xia, meaning dawn or light, by Shifu before she became a master. However, the franchise also includes characters with personal names like Feng Wang and Mei Ling, which creates genuine inconsistency worth investigating. The theory remains unconfirmed, but addresses a world-building quirk most viewers never consciously notice. The lack of any official explanation for the naming patterns leaves room for this theory to potentially be true. Oogway Orchestration. Master Oogway deliberately set Tai Lung's escape in motion, orchestrating every event of the first film. This theory examines Oogway's claim to have a vision of Tai Lung escaping Chorgom prison. Oogway tells Shifu about this vision, which causes Shifu to send the messenger Zheng to the prison. One of Zheng's feathers falls into Tai Lung's cell and becomes the exact tool he uses to pick his locks and escape. The theory asks whether Oogway actually had a vision, or if saying he had one created a self-fulfilling prophecy. Oogway's philosophy repeatedly states that there are no accidents and that one often meets his destiny on the road he takes to avoid it. Some theorists suggest Oogway intentionally triggered this chain of events, knowing the outcome. The alternative interpretation proposes that Oogway saw the future and let it unfold naturally without interference. Either way, Oogway's passivity, when he could have easily prevented Tai Lung's escape, seems deliberately calculated. The theory implies Oogway may have also orchestrated Poe's supposedly accidental selection as Dragon Warrior. This transforms Oogway from a wise but passive sage into a calculating mastermind playing multi-dimensional chess. The theory gains credibility from how perfectly the events align, and raises profound questions about free will and destiny. Films never explicitly confirm or deny Oogway's level of intentionality, making this theory plausible within the established narrative. Secret test. Oogway denying Tai Lung the Dragon Scroll was actually a character test that Tai Lung catastrophically failed. This fan theory, appearing in TV tropes and various forums, proposes that the Dragon Scroll's blank surface represents the ultimate test of worthiness. How someone reacts to the scroll reveals their true character. Tai Lung's reaction, screaming that it's nothing, shows he saw no value in himself and only sought external validation. Poe's initial reaction, simply stating it's blank, was more neutral, and he eventually understood the lesson about believing in yourself. The theory suggests that if Tai Lung had accepted Oogway's denial with humility, he might have received the scroll later, or found another path to fulfillment. Oogway saw darkness in Tai Lung's heart, specifically his pride and need for external validation, which is canon dialogue from the film. Some theorists argue Tai Lung could have become a second Dragon Warrior if he'd passed this test. This interpretation remains unconfirmed, but adds tragic dimension to Tai Lung's story. He was never inherently unworthy, but his reaction to being denied proved Oogway's concerns justified. The films never confirm whether the denial was a test, but the thematic consistency with the scroll's message about inner worth makes this theory compelling and potentially true. Spirit status. Po died when he used the Wuxi Finger Hold on Tai Lung, and now exists as a spirit in the mortal realm like Kai. This theory from TV tropes emerged after the third film. The third film confirms that the Wuxi Finger Hold sends its target to the spirit realm. The theory proposes that the technique kills the user, not just the target. Po would be a spirit with strong enough chi to manifest in the mortal realm, similar to how Kai operated. This would explain Poe's increasing power and abilities over the course of the films. Fans theorize that a future film might reveal Po doesn't age, confirming his spirit status. This dark interpretation would reframe every film after the first, meaning Po has been dead the entire time without anyone, including himself, realizing it. This would give spiritual leader and successor to Oogway literal rather than metaphorical meaning. Nothing in subsequent films confirms this theory, but critically, nothing explicitly contradicts it either. The established rules about the spirit realm, Qi manifestation, and the Wuxi Finger Hold leave enough ambiguity for this theory to remain possible within canon. Adoption mystery. The circumstances of how Mr. Ping came to adopt Po were deliberately orchestrated by Oogway, rather than accidental. Despite being central to Po's backstory, exactly how Ping found and adopted a baby panda is never fully revealed. The second film shows Po arrived in a radish crate, but not how that crate reached Ping's noodle shop. Po's biological father, Li Shan, was told Po was dead, yet Po somehow survived the attack on his village. The theory questions whether Ping finding Po was truly random chance, or if someone deliberately placed Po with him. Some fans theorize that Oogway guided Po to the Valley of Peace as an infant. Most compellingly, Oogway appears in the second film's end credits watching baby Po arrive, which is canon and highly suspicious. This would explain how Po ended up in the exact location needed to become the Dragon Warrior decades later. The theory examines a plot hole most viewers accept without question. If Po's arrival was orchestrated, it suggests his destiny was being guided long before the Dragon Warrior ceremony, adding layers to Oogway's philosophy that there are no accidents. Oogway's canonical appearance in that credits scene is impossible to dismiss as mere coincidence, giving this theory legitimate weight that it might actually be true. Tai Lung Survival. Tai Lung survived the Wuxi Finger Hold and has been living in the spirit realm, potentially returning in future films. After Po defeats Tai Lung in the first film using the Wuxi Finger Hold, Tai Lung disappears in a golden shockwave. The third film establishes that the Wuxi Finger Hold sends its target to the spirit realm rather than killing them outright. This means Tai Lung has been in the spirit realm for years, not dead but displaced. The fourth film shows that beings can return from the spirit realm under certain circumstances, with the villain known as the Chameleon demonstrating connections to past warriors. Fans theorize that Tai Lung could return, potentially redeemed or still seeking revenge. Some suggest he might have encountered Oogway in the spirit realm and received the teaching he needed all along. The theory gains credibility from the franchise's pattern of bringing back past villains and exploring redemption. Tai Lung's fate has never been explicitly confirmed as permanent death, and the established mechanics of the spirit realm make his potential return canonically possible. This theory has gained momentum among fans who believe Tai Lung's story feels incomplete, and that the franchise's themes of redemption and second chances could apply to him. Successor Burden. Po will eventually face the same devastating failure as Oogway, watching someone he trains turn evil and having to stop them. This thematic theory examines what Oogway's role truly means for Po's future. Oogway's greatest pain was watching Tai Lung, whom he loved like family, become corrupted by ambition and pride. Oogway also had to stop Kai, his best friend, when power and bitterness corrupted him. The burden of being Grand Master involves repeatedly choosing the greater good over personal relationships. As Oogway's true successor, Po must inherit this burden, along with the title and staff. The theory proposes that future films might force Po to face a student or close friend turning evil, creating his own Tai Lung moment. This would parallel Po's journey to Oogway's, transforming him from a goofy optimist into a wise but burdened leader who understands the cost of responsibility. The franchise repeatedly explores the teacher-student betrayal theme with Oogway and Tai Lung, Oogway and Kai, and Shifu and Tai Lung. The pattern is undeniable and suggests this cycle might continue. Po's greatest strength throughout the series is his ability to connect with others and see the good in everyone. The theory asks what happens when that strength becomes his greatest weakness. This theory imagines the ultimate test of Po's character, and remains unconfirmed but thematically inevitable based on the franchise's established patterns. If you found this interesting, consider subscribing so you never miss new content. Thanks for watching.